Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to the AI Cafe Conversations. I'm Sahar, your AI whisperer. Last episode, we talked about shadow AI, why employees hide AI use, and how to create psychological safety so they can share what they are experimenting with. Today, we are tackling the natural next question. Once AI comes out of the shadows, how do you know if your AI tools are actually giving you accurate information? Let me tell you what happened to me a few weeks ago, and this is actually a real story that happened to me. I was preparing a workshop for some public agencies, executives in a nearby state. Important presentation, senior leaders. I wanted compelling case studies about AI success stories in that sector. So I did what many of us would do. I started with a Google search, but I also asked AI for examples. And AI delivered almost instantly. A utility company that implemented an AI chatbot and reduced customer service call times by 40%. Impressive numbers. Specific metrics, even cited a 2023 implementation report. Another energy on the East Coast that used AI for grid optimization, detailed results, cost savings, everything I needed. Another agency that published guidelines on AI adoption, perfect reference material. It all sounded very credible, professional, exactly what I needed for my workshop. But here is the thing about good leadership. AI recommends, human decides. We need to always remember, AI has been trained by you and me. AI has been trained by human. So whatever we have, even as biases, have been fed to AI. I always say this, AI is one of the best tools ever created, but we need to make sure that we do our due diligence. It's not a copy and paste exercise. It's not, AI said it, so it must be the right thing. It's a tool, it's not a strategy. We can depend on it, but not 100%. Even if you have a research team, you go and you experiment and you research and you try to prove what you're saying, you do the pros, you do the cons. That's the same thing that you do with AI. All right? So when I started verifying all that, I started checking sources. I tried to cross-reference. And this is what I have always been doing in my life. I don't take things for granted right away. And here is what I discovered. The utility company, the company existed. They did upgrade customer service, but those specific AI numbers, fabricated. The 40% reduction, made up. The 2023 implementation report never existed. The East Coast Energy Company, real company, wrong state, wrong project details. The commission doesn't exist at all. AI had generated plausible-sounding case studies, confident language, authoritative citations, all of it believable, and all of it wrong. Now I want to be very clear, okay? I'm one of the biggest AI enthusiasts. I love AI. I think it saved me so much time, increased my productivity. It really propelled me forward to do what I do. I use it every day. It's a very powerful partner in my work. Actually, because of it, I wrote a book that became a #1 new release on Amazon for 3 weeks. That I wrote about AI, neuroscience, and the human being, because it's always a relationship between artificial intelligence and human intelligence. It's not a competition, it's a collaboration, right? We help each other evolve. Like I said, it's a powerful partner in my work, but this experience taught me something very critical that I would love to share with you. AI is brilliant at pattern matching and generating content, but it doesn't fact check itself, at least not yet. That's our job. AI suggests, human decides. Today we're talking about why executives need to verify AI outputs, what neuroscience tells us about why we trust confident sounding information, and how to build verification into your workflow, not as skepticism, but as smart leadership. Let's dive in. What happened and why? So what exactly happened when an AI generated those fake case studies? AI tools work by pattern matching. They have been trained on billions of words from the internet. They learn patterns, what utility companies typically do, how success stories are structured, what credible reports even look like. When I asked for case studies, AI did what it does best. It identified the pattern of successful utility AI implementation and generated content that matched that pattern. But here is the critical point. AI doesn't verify facts. It generates plausible content. If partial information exists, like a certain state, utility, company upgraded customer service, AI fills in the blanks. It fills in the gaps with what seems logical. Bias at its best. Numbers that sound reasonable. Report titles that follow typical naming conventions. Details that complete the story. Very convincing. This is not malicious. It's how the technology works. That's why when we use AI, we have to go with that frame of mind that we always need to do our due diligence. We always need to go through it with open eyes. This, again, is not malicious. AI is optimized for pattern completion, not truth verification. That's not its role. It's our role. Now you might be thinking, why didn't the AI just say, I didn't know? Because AI is designed to be helpful, to provide answers. And when it doesn't have complete information, it makes educated guesses based on patterns. We humans do that. How many times have you heard people say something about a subject that sometimes they knew nothing about, but just to look good? Sometimes those guesses are brilliant, sometimes they are completely wrong. And here is where it gets interesting for executives. The wrong answers often sound just as confident as the right ones. There is no disclaimer, no uncertainty marker, just authoritative sounding content that seems extremely credible. This is why verification is not optional, it's essential. And it's not just about AI. Think about it. If a team member sent you a presentation with statistics, you had asked, where did you get these numbers? I do that. When I present to groups or executives and teams, and I'm making a certain theory or a certain allegation, I always dig deep on what are the citations, are the resources credible? I did that even way before AI. When I write an article for Forbes Coach Council, sometimes they come back and tell me, how can you verify that? Are there any credible resources, citations for that? And the citations are not another blogger. Citations have to be credible resources and sources that you have to mention. So we do that with our team members in real life, right? We ask, where did you get these numbers? Where did you get these facts? And our due diligence extends and expands to AI as well. If a consultant proposed a strategy based on industry benchmarks, you had want to see the source data. If a report cited research studies, you had check if those studies actually exist. We verify human work all the time. Not because we don't trust people, but because verification is a good practice. AI deserves the same standard. Use it. Benefit from its speed and pattern recognition. And verify the outputs before you present to your board, send to clients, or base strategic decisions on AI-generated content. This is not an anti-AI. This is pro-accuracy. Now let's talk about why this matters from a brain science perspective. Why did I almost use those fabricated case studies without questioning them? Because my brain was subject to something called automation bias. Automation bias is the tendency to trust information generated by automated systems more than information from human sources. Here is what happens neurologically. When you receive information from a computer or AI system, your brain makes an assumption. Algorithms are objectives. Machines don't have agendas. Technology is neutral. The assumption triggers cognitive ease. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for critical thinking and verifications, relaxes. You think the system generated this, it must be accurate. This is the same neural process that happens when you trust GPS navigation without questioning it, or when you accept autocorrect suggestions without rereading. The brain conserves energy by outsourcing verification to the automated system. Now, add another layer, authority bias. When AI provides specific citation like that fake 2023 implementation report, it mimics the markers of credible research. Report titles, publication years, specific metrics like 40% reduction. Your brain recognizes these patterns as authoritative. The amygdala registers, this looks like legitimate professional documentation. Cortisol stays low. Threat detection stays off. You accept the information. Here is the problem though. AI has learned to mimic authority without actually being authoritative. It generates content that looks like research, sounds like expertise, follows the structure of credible sources. But it hasn't verified the facts. And your brain, operating on pattern recognition and cognitive shortcuts, accepts it. This is not a flaw in you. It's how human cognition works. We are wired to trust confident-sounding information, especially from sources we perceive as objective. But here is the leadership opportunity here. When you understand automation bias, you can compensate for it. You can build verification checkpoints into your workflow, not because you are skeptical of AI, but because you are aware of how your brain responds to automated outputs. The best executives use AI as a powerful first draft generator. Then they activate the prefrontal cortex to verify, validate, and refine. That combination, AI's speed plus human verification, is where real value lives. AI generates, you validate. AI suggests, you decide. Together you make better decisions than either could make alone. That's cognitive partnership. Let's talk about what happens when executives skip verification. First, credibility damage. Imagine if I had used those fabricated case studies in my workshop. Utility executive would have asked follow-up question. Which state utility that was? Can you share that report? When I couldn't produce real sources, my credibility would have been destroyed. Not just for that workshop, but for future engagements. One unverified AI output can undermine years of professional reputation. Second, strategic missteps. If you're making business decisions based on AI-generated market analysis, competitive research, or trend forecasts, and those outputs contain fabricated data, you are building strategy on fiction. You might invest in the wrong markets, pursue the wrong partnerships, allocate resources based on patterns that don't actually exist. The cost isn't just the bad decision, it's the opportunity cost of what you could have done with accurate information. Third, legal and compliance risk. If you're using AI to generate content for regulatory filings, client contracts, or compliance documentation, and those documents contain false information, you are exposed. But AI generated is not a legal defense. You are responsible for the accuracy of everything that goes under your name and your company's name. Fourth, erosion of team trust. If your team discovered you presented AI-generated content as a fact without verifying it, they question your judgment. Not because you used AI, but because you didn't do due diligence. Leadership requires verification, always has. AI doesn't change that standard. Now, here is the good news. Verification is not hard. It's just intentional. And when you build it with your workflow, you get the best of both worlds. AI speed and your accuracy. Here are 3 moves to build verification into your AI workflow. Move 1. Use AI for first drafts, not final answers. AI is brilliant at generating initial content, case studies, market summaries, email drafts, presentations outline. Let it do that work. It saves you hours. But treat every AI output as a first draft that requires human review. When AI generates data points, ask yourself, where would this data actually come from? Can I verify this? When AI cites sources, check if those sources exist. Google the report title. Search for the publication. Verify the author. This doesn't take long. 5 minutes of verification can save you from hours of credibility damage. Try this. Create a simple verification checklist for AI outputs. Before you use AI-generated content, ask. 1. Does this cite specific sources? Can I access them? 2. Do these numbers come from verifiable data? 3. If I had to defend this information to my board, could I? If the answer is no, verify it yourself or revise the content. Move 2. Build verification checkpoints into your flow. Don't rely on remembering to verify. Build it in your process. For example, if you're using AI to research competitors, assign someone on your team to independently verify key claims before the strategy meeting. If you're using AI to draft client proposals, add a verification step to your proposal. Review process, just like you have a legal review or a budget review. If you're using AI for presentations, schedule time to fact check before finalizing slides. The goal is not to slow down. It's to catch errors before they become problems. Think of verification like proofreading. You don't skip proofreading just because spell check exists, do you? You use spell check and proofread. Same principle with AI. Use AI for speed, add human verification for accuracy. Try this. For any high-stakes AI use, board presentation, client deliverables, strategic planning documents, and a verification owner to your project plan. Someone whose job is to check the facts, not to critique the AI, but to ensure accuracy. Move 3. Celebrate the partnership, not the automation. Here is the mind shift that matters. Don't measure success by how much AI can do without human input. Measure success by how much better outputs are when we combine AI generation with human verification. When you catch an AI error, that's not AI failure. That's the system working. AI generated fast. You caught the mistake, you corrected it. The final product is better than either AI or human could produce alone. That's worth celebrating. Try this. In your next meeting, share a story about using AI effectively, including the verification step. I used AI to draft our quarterly analysis. It saved me 6 hours. Then I spent 20 minutes fact-checking the key statistics, found 2 errors, corrected them. The final version is solid. This models the right behavior. Use AI, verify AI, deliver quality. That's the standard you are setting. When your team sees you doing this, they will do it too. And your organization's AI outputs will be fast and accurate. That's competitive advantage. Here is what I want you to take away from this episode or podcast. AI is not replacing executives, it's amplifying them. But only if you stay in the driver's seat. Use AI. Trust AI to do what it does brilliantly, like pattern recognition, context generation, and speed. And bring your human judgment to verify, validate, and refine. That's not skepticism, that's leadership. Your Monday morning move? Pick one way you are currently using AI. Research, writing, analysis, whatever. Add one verification checkpoint, just one. Before you use that AI output, spend 5 minutes checking sources, verifying data, or confirming facts. 5 minutes, that's it. And watch what happens. You will catch errors you would have missed. You will feel more confidence in your outputs, and you will model smart AI partnership for your team. AI plus human verification, that's the formula. Thanks for listening. I'm Sahar, your AI whisperer. I will see you next time on AI Cafe Conversation. Show me some love. Like, subscribe, share the podcast with someone that needs to hear it. If you want to get hold of me, email me at sahar@saharconsulting.com. You can find me on LinkedIn, Sahar Enradi, on Instagram, Sahar the Reinvent Coach. You can also get my book, The Coach's Brain Meets AI, on Amazon. Love you all. This is Sahar, AI Whisperer, and I'm out of here. See you next time.
1